Hi everyone. Now for you cabbage lovers, guess what we're making today? Braised cabbage. That doesn't sound that great, but you know what? It is a fantastic dish, very similar to cabbage rolls. Very little ingredients. It's easy to make, and that's what we're going to do right now. So our first ingredient is cabbage. We had a half a cabbage, and this is where I got the idea and the recipe, because we had a half a cabbage. Why let it go to waste? Because it always goes in the fridge, never to be seen from again. So this way, and I'll tell you, my daughter loved it to the point where I've made it 3 times now. We're going to take our cabbage, and the idea is you get 1 to 1.5 inch slices of cabbage. Yeah, okay, it wasn't the prettiest, but it worked out. So here's our pieces. Looks like a lot. For 2 or 3 people, it's just right. We're going to salt and pepper up both sides because you need some flavoring. And of course, the salt and pepper is to your taste. I like pepper. My daughter not so much, so I kind of had to go in the middle here. We flip them over. We're going to do this side. Now you can see how the cabbage tends to fall apart, so you really got to watch it. In the end, it's not really going to matter because you've had cabbage rolls. I've had messy cabbage rolls, which is all the pieces just thrown in. It works out really well. All right, over to our stove. 1 frying pan. Good bit of olive oil in the bottom, or any other oil you want really. Get it nice and warmed up. You can tell you flick some water on it, and you get that nice little sizzle. Good to go. So carefully in go our cabbage. I got to do it in 2 lifts because it's not going to all fit in there. So roll it around, make sure it gets some oil, and then a couple minutes later, you got it on medium-high heat. You want it kind of a little bit of a char on it. Doesn't have to be a lot. That's just going to help with the flavor, right? I can't figure out for the life of me how to flip these things without falling. Oh, I didn't do too bad there. And once again, you should be able to see that there's just a bit of, okay, that one's falling apart. There's just a bit of a char on the bottom, and we're going to try and do the same with the other side. Well, okay, I guess the middle part's kind of okay. There you go. That should be what they look like. Something like that. Well, now they're kind of seared on both sides. We're going to carefully take those out, get the other pieces in. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. One, you keep it in an oven-safe pan, because it is going to go in the oven, but since it doesn't all fit there, I went and got a tin foil pan, and I think that's going to work just fine. Actually, I know it is because I've already made this, so I know how it turned out. It turned out excellent. The second way is, instead of putting it in the oven, you leave it on the stove, covered on a simmer, and you do the exact same thing, 3 or 4 hours on a simmer. Once your cabbage is all done, I've got about not even a half teaspoon of red pepper flakes. You can also put a half teaspoon of cumin in. I find cumin really strong, so I did avoid it, but if you want to put it in, or any other spice that I didn't mention, go ahead. Now this is 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and that doesn't have to be exact either. You could put 4 in, you could put 2, it depends. I'm just going to mix this around with the red pepper flakes. Just for a couple minutes, and then you start, oh, it really starts smelling cool. So that's our signal. Get our measuring mug out, and we're going to put 2 cups of chicken stock into our pan. Now, if you want to go full-on vegetarian, use vegetable stock instead. So there you go. Now we're just going to kind of mix it all and let it combine. Whoa. Okay, we're good. Next up, Our last ingredient, teaspoon of mustard powder. Yeah, you know, I might have put in a little extra too, but I didn't. And then we're going to slowly combine all that. And this is our braising liquid. So what you do now is you would put the cabbage back into this liquid. But since we're using another pan, we're going to take that liquid, take it off the stove. Here's our cabbage. Oh wait, that's not our cabbage. That's our tinfoil pan. Here's our cabbage on the other baking sheet. And we're going to carefully put all our pieces into the pan. Now don't worry about it being a little like falling apart like that. It's okay. Taste-wise, you would never notice it. And honestly, to eat it, you know, you can pick out the little strands and it's just kind of cool. See? The one piece that fell apart, I just kind of stuffed it in the corner. It's all good though. It's all going to work out in the end, I'm telling you right now. So we got our cabbage in the pan. Like I said, that's enough for 2 or 3 people easily. And now the braising liquid goes on top. Well, it doesn't, I mean, it smells good, but it's not, you haven't put the cabbage in the oven yet. And that's what we're going to do. 325, covered, of course. I forgot about that part. You want to cover it fairly tight because you don't want the liquid to escape. $325, you're going to do 3 to 4 hours, depending. And we're going to check it every hour. So here we are at hour number 1. And we're going to carefully take the lid off. Oh, look at that steam. It looks good. You're mostly checking for liquid. You want to make sure there's enough in the bottom so it doesn't dry up on you. That would be the worst thing. Okay, back in the oven we go, and we'll check the next hour. Hour number 2. Looking good. Now, if it gets a little lower than that, you might want to put a little extra chicken stock, vegetable stock. Even tomato juice will work. But I think we're okay. It's only going to go back in for about another hour or so. It actually, the grand total was about 3 hours and 20 minutes. And here we are. Check this out. I mean, it kind of looks the same. There's just a little bit of liquid in the bottom. I think I would have had to add a bit had I gone to the 4-hour mark. But this looks really good. And I'll tell you, taste-wise, it's phenomenal. If you like cabbage rolls, you're definitely going to like this one. You got to give it a try. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.